Cold open on November 24, 1971. A man boarded a plane using a fake name. 90 minutes later, he jumped out of it, with $200,000 strapped to his body, into a freezing storm 3 miles above the ground. He was never seen again. To this day, the FBI still doesn't know who he was. This is the story of D.B. Cooper, the only unsolved skyjacking in American aviation history. A case with a ransom, a parachute, a storm, and a man who simply vanished into thin air. Stay till the end, because the final theory on this list will make you question everything you thought you knew about this case. The hijacking. It was the day before Thanksgiving. A quiet, well-dressed man walked up to the counter at Portland International
Good morning.
Airport
Welcome aboard.
and bought a one-way ticket under the name Dan Cooper. He looked like any other business traveler. Dark suit, black raincoat, neat black tie. Nothing about him stood out. That was exactly the point. He boarded Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305, a short hop to Seattle. He ordered a bourbon and soda, and once the plane was in the air, he calmly handed a note to the flight attendant. She assumed it was a phone number. A man flirting, maybe. She slipped it into her pocket without reading it. He leaned over and said quietly, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." She opened it. It read exactly what he'd said, spelled out in plain typed letters. He opened his briefcase just enough to show her a tangle of wires and red cylinders. Whether it was real or not, nobody was going to test it 30,000 feet in the air. His demands were oddly specific: $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and when the plane landed in Seattle, he wanted it refueled, and he wanted it to take off again. The ransom and the jump. Seattle police and the FBI scrambled. The airline's president personally approved the ransom. The money, 10,000 $20 bills, was gathered so fast that the serial numbers were microfilmed just in time, almost as an afterthought. That detail would matter enormously decades later. The plane touched down. The passengers were released. The money and parachutes were handed over. And then, just past 7:40 p.m., the plane took off again, climbing into a black, storming sky. Just Cooper, the pilots, and one flight attendant left aboard. He ordered everyone into the cockpit. Then he did something almost nobody expected. He lowered the plane's rear staircase, mid-flight, and somewhere over the dense forests of southwest Washington, in freezing rain, at 10,000 feet, wearing a business suit and loafers, D.B. Cooper jumped. He was never seen again. The Manhunt. What followed was one of the largest manhunts in FBI history. Hundreds of agents, military search teams combing the forest for weeks, divers searching rivers, nothing. Then, in 1980, a young boy digging in the sand along the Columbia River found something buried and decaying: a stack of cash. The serial numbers matched. It was part of Cooper's ransom money, but it was the only piece of him or his money ever found. No parachute, no body, no bones. Just cash, buried in a riverbank 9 years later. Who was he? Over the decades, hundreds of suspects have been investigated and cleared. A necktie he left on the plane, loaded with rare microscopic particles from a specialized manufacturing environment, has never definitively matched a suspect. Some believe he was a former paratrooper. Some believe he didn't survive the jump at all, that his body simply was never found in the dense wilderness below. In 2016, the FBI officially closed the case, redirecting resources elsewhere, but they never stopped hoping someone would come forward. Whoever he was, D.B. Cooper did something no one else in American history has ever done and gotten away with. He walked onto a plane and disappeared from the world entirely. What do you think happened to him? Survived and started a new life? Or lost to the forest forever? Tell me your theory in the comments. And if you want more unsolved mysteries like this, subscribe. Mystery Vault posts a new one every week.